Wang Tiangu half-jokingly asked Han Li whether he knew those two people. Han Li calmly denied it. Nanlong Marquis did not pursue the matter further and decided to leave at once, avoiding staying too long in the territory of the Mulan. Not long after the group arrived before a barren stone mountain, where spiritual energy was scarce, Nanlong Marquis confirmed that this was indeed the location of the cave dwelling, then stepped forward together with the white-robed old man, each taking out an extraordinary small banner. The two began chanting incantations. The small banners trembled and shot into the mountain. For a brief moment, everything fell silent, leaving everyone puzzled. At that very moment, the ground suddenly shook violently, causing Han Li's expression to change slightly as a sense of unease rose in his heart. The ground convulsed. A hairline crack raced from the mountain's peak to its base, spilling a harsh white glow as if the whole massif were being cleaved in two. Han Li and the others went cold, stunned by Marquis Nanlong and Taoist Yun's power, yet they forced themselves to watch calmly. Wang Chan and Yan Ruyan stayed silent behind Wang Tiangu. Han Li flicked them a brief, icy glance, then refocused. There'd be no clean chance to kill Wang Chan before the treasure was in hand. With a final sequence of incantations, the mountain split wide, revealing a 30-meter crevice and a limestone stairway within. The white-robed elder led the descent, while Marquis Nanlong lingered behind with an easy smile, an arrangement that made Han Li's caution sharpen. They walked deep underground moonstones lining the passage. The air grew steadily colder, and by 300 meters down the stone's pale light had shifted to a sickly green, turning the corridor ominous. Instinctively, the cultivators began spacing out, each keeping distance from the next, everyone wary, though no one said it aloud. Nanlong and Yun ignored it and continued forward. At last they entered a vast hall, seemingly carved from a single hollowed boulder that shimmered with translucent blue light. Beautiful yet wrong. Spiritual sense rebounded the moment they tried to probe the walls. Han Li's unease rose, and he saw the same tension on the others' faces. Then the hall shook. A deep rumble rolled behind them, and the stairway was gone, replaced by a seamless wall of sparkling blue. Silence fell like a blade. "What is the meaning of this?" the tan-robed cultivator demanded. Nanlong remained calm. The outer restrictions had reactivated. He explained, the mountain had sealed itself again. It had happened before. In 3 days, when the restraints weakened, they could leave. Better still, the seal meant no spell warriors would discover them. Doubt lingered, but relief followed. Nanlong and Yun were trapped inside with them after all. They turned to the real problem, the wondrous soul formation. Last time, even Nanlong and Yun had failed. That was when Lady Tai stepped forward, smiling. She claimed to possess a treasure made for breaking barriers and asked, pointedly, for priority pick if it worked. After a brief pause, Nanlong agreed. Whoever broke the formation would choose after the two leaders. No one objected, though not everyone looked pleased. Lady Tai produced a short fire-red spike. With a breath of blinding mist, she awakened it. Heat rippled outward, forcing even seasoned cultivators to step back. Wang Chan and Yan Ruyan, scorched by the wave, hastily raised a crimson barrier. The spike crackled fire threaded with faint white lightning. An ancient treasure, dual-aspected lightning and flame. Lady Tai drove it into the blue wall. Fiery light burst. Muffled booms rolled through the chamber. The spike rose and spun above her head, accelerating until it became a red-white blur, darting across the hall faster than the eye could follow. Han Li watched, alarm tightening his chest. He had never seen an ancient treasure move with such speed, something even nascent soul cultivators would struggle to defend against. Against that kind of weapon, he knew he'd have only one answer, his thunderstorm wings. Lady Tai pointed at the faint blur and barked. Go red and white light flashed. Then the lightning fire spike slammed into the blue crystal wall. A muffled bang followed as lightning and flames burst across the surface, dazzling everyone. Han Li's eyes narrowed. The treasure's spiritual pressure was fierce, no wonder she'd been so confident. But when the glare faded, the spike hovered inches from the wall, and the wall was untouched. Nanlong gave a disappointed smile. Powerful, but not enough for the wondrous soul restriction. "Thank you, fellow Taoist Tai. Anyone else wish to try?" Lady Tai snorted. "That was only a test. Its true force hasn't been used yet." Nanlong's gaze brightened. "Then please continue." She formed hand seals. The spike returned above her head, spinning faster and faster until lightning and fire seemed to fuse. A strange hum filled the air. Scarlet lightning began snapping along its surface, and the room's tension sharpened. "Break," she muttered. The spike vanished with a tearing rush of wind and struck again. This time there was no explosion, only a soft pop. The spike pierced the crystal wall and began drilling in. slowed but still forcing forward under her incantations. Nanlong and Yun looked openly delighted, the others watched, anxious and intent. Han Li, by contrast, wore the faintest smirk. Only Yan Ruyan noticed, and her expression turned uncertain. When the spike had bored in about a foot, the wall flared with blue radiance. Countless threads of searing white light erupted, wrapping the spike in a glittering net. A thunderous boom, then the lightning fire spike detonated. As the light died, the wall was whole again, as if nothing had happened. Lady Tai's face went pale, fury and pain twisting her features. She had paid dearly to obtain that ancient treasure, and it had been destroyed in an instant. For a moment she looked ready to cough blood. But she steadied herself, inhaled and forced her emotions down. With a bitter smile she stepped back. I've made a fool of myself. The wondrous soul restriction deserves its name among the top 10 ancient formations. I can't break it. Perhaps one of you can. Nanlong sighed. His smile was gone. Unfortunate indeed. Does anyone else wish to attempt it? His eyes lingered on Wang Tiangu, the famed formation grandmaster. But after watching an ancient treasure get obliterated, no one rushed forward. Who would gamble their own prized tools for the same outcome? Wang Tiangu stayed silent, cornered and guarded. Even he had never faced a restriction of this rank. Then Han Li spoke calm, almost casual. Though my skills are lacking, I'd like to try. The group turned in surprise. Nanlong recovered first. Of course, please proceed, fellow Taoist Han. Han Li approached an unscathed section of wall. Wang Chan sneered and sent a few private words to Yan Ruyan. She barely reacted. Wang Tiangu maintained a composed face, but his confusion was obvious. Han Li did not strike. He raised a hand, condensed spiritual power, and traced the wall with a short streak of azure light from his fingertip. No effect. Unbothered, he sheathed his palm in azure qi, pressed it flat against the crystal, and stood perfectly still as if listening. To the others, his behavior was unreadable. No one interrupted. Unseen by them, a faint blue glow lit Han Li's eyes as he examined the wall with full focus. After a quarter hour, he exhaled, the glow fading. Without hesitation, he reached into his storage pouch and produced more than 10 formation flags of different colors. The white-robed elder blurted, unable to hide his excitement. So fellow Taoist Han is also skilled in formations. Are you planning to break a formation with a formation? Do you understand the wondrous soul restriction? Han Li answered evenly, understand it hardly. I only know a few ancient formations of a similar type, and I want to try. He breathed azure qi onto the flags. They flared to life, flew from his hand, aligned themselves toward the crystal wall, and hung motionless in the air, waiting. Han Li formed a hand seal. The dozen formation flags lifted and shifted into a baffling pattern facing the wall. He began chanting under his breath. A series of seals shot from his hands, striking each flag with flawless precision. The flags trembled, then erupted in multicolored radiance, casting threads of light that braided and locked together. Wang Tiangu and the others, who understood formations, frowned. The structure felt oddly familiar, yet none of them could place it. Instinctively, they began dissecting it in silence, trying to pry out its logic. Han Li gave them no time. With a quiet shout, the formation flared into blinding white. Those staring were forced to avert their eyes. The moment they recovered, eyes reinforced with spiritual power, they froze. The flags were already embedded into the crystal wall as if they had grown there. Nanlong and Taoist Yun exchanged a look of genuine delight. Their confidence in Han Li rose sharply. Wang Tiangu's expression flickered, while Wang Chan behind him stared in complicated disbelief. Yan Ruyan's brow tightened, uncertain what to make of it. Han Li stepped up and pressed both palms to the wall. Azure light glimmered faintly along his fingers. The formation responded immediately, its core ignited with rainbow light, swelling outward until the entire wall shimmered in a magnificent, shifting spectrum. Before anyone could fully react, Han Li withdrew his hands. His figure blurred, then reappeared at the adjacent wall. He examined it for a long moment, produced another set of formation flags, and arranged them in a different pattern. A flash of white, and they sank into the crystal again with unsettling ease. This time the others were prepared. They shielded their eyes and watched closely. Even so, they could only click their tongues at how effortlessly the flags pierced the walls under Han Li's command. He repeated the process on all 4 walls. The work took over an hour. No one complained, everyone understood. The dismantling a top-tier ancient restriction was never quick. When the last formation was set, Han Li returned to the center of the hall and raised a green formation plate. He struck it with a succession of intricate seals. The plate and the 4 walls pulsed together, lights twinkling in synchronized patterned waves. Han Li did not look back. He simply lowered his head and said, "Break." Light surged, a piercing cry erupted, rising and multiplying until it sounded like countless birds shrieking at once. A heavy rumble rolled through the chamber, and then abruptly everything went dim. When the radiance vanished, the cultivators stared. The crystal walls were gone. In their place stood ordinary stone. One wall now held a massive stone gate 20 meters tall, 12 meters wide. Joy flickered across Marquis Nanlong's face. I didn't expect fellow Taoist Han to be this skilled. Excellent. Taoist Yun and I will keep our word. After we each choose, fellow Taoist Han will have priority. Taoist Yun's smile sharpened as his eyes fixed on the gate, feverish with anticipation. The tan-robed cultivator could barely contain himself. Brother Nanlong, let's see what's inside. There can't be more restrictions, right? Nanlong answered with confidence. There won't be. Master Kang Kun's notes said there are only 2 layers. He stepped forward and swept his sleeve. The stone gate opened with effortless ease. The group followed, their last remaining caution thinning, until the old woman reached the threshold and cried out, "What is this?" Beyond lay a hall several times larger than the one they had left. At its center stood an elegant pavilion of translucent white jade, over 30 meters tall with 2 floors. Above its 10-meter gate, silver characters read, Jadepere Pavilion. A pavilion in the middle of a cavernous hall was strange enough. Stranger still, a jet-black altar table stood before it, and on the altar rested a sparkling scroll about a meter long. The rest of the hall was empty, no other doors, no other passages. Everyone drew the same conclusion: whatever mattered was inside the pavilion. After a brief exchange of looks, Taoist Yun approached the altar cautiously. The others' hearts stirred, but no one objected. They watched in controlled silence. He hesitated, then exhaled a mist of white light. It coiled around the scroll, lifting it. With a slow turn, the scroll unfurled, revealing a portrait. A scholar holding a sword, gazing toward the sky. "Is that Master Kang Kun?" the stern-faced cultivator asked, startled. Wang Tiangu's gaze swept the image. "It seems so. But there must be a reason it's displayed here. By itself, it doesn't look particularly precious." Taoist Yun considered, then said quietly, "I'll test it." He formed a seal and flicked his finger. Several red spell seals struck the portrait. For an instant it flashed with silver light, then faded back to normal, as if nothing had happened. Taoist Yun frowned. Strange, it may be nothing more than a simple portrait. After a short silence, Nanlong decided, "Then we'll put it away for now. Let's search for the real treasures and distribute them first." Any objections? No one objected. The old woman chuckled and agreed readily. Taoist Yun rolled the scroll up and stored it. Nanlong's gaze returned to the pavilion. "Let's go in." They circled the altar and stopped before the closed jade doors. Nanlong pushed them open slowly with a creak. A blinding light poured out, forcing everyone to squint until their vision adjusted. When they could finally see, 3 slender shelves of black wood stood on the first floor, lined with the items that had emitted the dazzling glow. Excitement surged through the group, but they were all too seasoned and too dangerous to let greed make the first move. They entered carefully, studying each treasure in silence.